What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Tomorrow I'm actually flying out to film a video testimonial. I do these fairly often for work. I'm usually trying to travel as light as possible, though sometimes it can get expensive. But generally I want to take as little gear as possible because I want to travel with a carry-on. I don't know if that's possible this time. But this is generally the gear that I use to film simple, to film quasi-simple video testimonial interviews that look really good. Let's actually start with cameras, right? So my A cam I'm usually filming on is a Sony ZV1. This is a great camera. This is like kind of like a FX3, but like the little brother version, right? The only real drawback for me is that sometimes it might overheat. I haven't had it knock out on me in any one of these interviews, and I've filmed for probably like maybe 40 minutes plus, and sometimes B-roll as well. But just to be on the safe side, something I do carry, just in case it starts to get hot, is this Ulanzi fan. You can put this like right on the back of the ZV1, just like this. The fan has two settings for power. If your camera's heating up, one of these will cool it right down. So hasn't overheated on me yet, but I always have this on me just in case. The lens I'm using on this camera is the Sigma 24-70 2.8. This is a beast of a lens. It's pretty much like your general all-around lens. It's basically like Sony G Master quality, except for like half the price. So that is a big plus there, especially if you're trying to save some money. But yes, so that A cam will also have the Portkeys PT5 monitor, just so I can watch the video on like a bigger screen and make sure everything's looking good. This has false color, which is very useful. It has zebras, which is very useful. It can tell you when you're in focus or not. It's also very good for coloring. You could put LUTs on this, but generally the Rec 709 default that's on it gives you a really good idea of how your log footage is going to come out. This monitor takes a standard like Sony battery, just goes in like that on the back, and then this gets attached via this small rig handle to the ZV1, right? So as we go along, you're kind of seeing how I'm building out my rig for these like simple but effective interviews. B camera is Old Faithful right here. This is the Sony FX30. This is not full frame, it is crop sensor, but it is a beast. There's an internal fan in this. It has S-Log 3, which is great for matching up with the ZV-E1. It can match very, very easily in post. Just like this is a filmmaker's camera for sure. And especially if you cannot afford an FX3, which is very costly, this is probably like $1,500, if that much. This guy will never overheat on you, unless you're like in hell, shooting in hell or something like that, but very reliable. Always have this on me. This used to be my A cam actually before I got the ZV-E1 and jumped to full frame, but this is a very, very capable camera. This guy has this lens on it. This is the Sigma 18-50 2.8. This is a crop sensor lens, so yeah, you know, match made in heaven. And it's also small, which is very good for portability. Most of the times when I'm traveling on these shoots, I'm only carrying a backpack and a carry-on. That's the camera game, right? So, oh, actually one more, Osmo Pocket 3. Yeah, this is just very easy just to get like slow motion B-roll and chuck it in the video as well. Looks really great, and it's very, very stable. I used to use a gimbal like the DJI Ronin, but that was way too big, way too heavy, taking up way too much space in the bag. And then also like on the shoots, now you have to like rebalance it. I am shooting mainly like attorneys. They have very limited time. They're very, very busy people. So you don't want to spend time balancing a gimbal when you could just be getting your shoot and kind of, you know, in and out kind of thing. They appreciate that too when you save them sometimes. So, oh, ZV-E1, I forgot. This connects the monitor to the actual ZV-E1 itself. So HDMI going to the micro HDMI or the mini HDMI, whatever it is, the smaller version. This is not the best connection, I find. I really wish that the ZV-E1 had a full-size HDMI. It's never been an issue, but it can definitely get pulled out. And one time I had one of them bend on me. It didn't break inside the ZV-E1, but thank goodness. But yeah, the only knock I would say, but this is like a Condor blue cable, so very solid. Love this one as well. Very, very necessary. If we're carrying two cameras, you obviously have to have a lot of batteries, right? As many as you can hold, just to be safe. Honestly, I'm not even filming for an hour on two cameras, so the ones I have on me are probably good enough. but you never want to be without, just in case something happens to like the first set of batteries. You have a backup. All right. That's the thing. Always have a backup. And that's one thing I learned while doing these shoots. For every piece that you're working on, audio, video, you always want to have redundancies. For example, having two cameras really, really helps in the edit. So let's say you have one camera, right? And talent is talking and they fumble their words, or, you know, they make a mistake or something has to get edited out. But the previous part was really good. If you have one camera, that means you have to get creative with either like B-roll or something with splicing, right? Having two cameras makes that job a lot easier. Sometimes you can just take, let's say, the first take from camera A better take from camera B, and just splice them together. And because they're different angles, it looks way more natural, right? And it sounds natural as well, versus like clipping it with B-roll. So another reason why I have two cameras on set all the time, redundancies. And lots of the times, even when I mess up, in something in the shoot happens, for example, because I have that second camera, nobody knows, and they would never know because it's edited so well by me. But also it could be by you too. So awesome. Right. So let's talk about audio, right? What is his name again? DJI Mic 2. Yes, it's called the DJI Mic 2. These are amazing for these types of interview setups, like very minimal. You don't want to have like a boom or something and a big ass mic over somebody's head, especially because we're traveling, trying to conserve space, right? So this is amazing. And here's why. You can just put this, usually these attorneys or people have like jacket pockets. They're normally in suits. You just tap this in them jacket pocket, and then you have a lav right here. You have a lav that connects this and just goes on their lapel. Easy. What I love about this mic system is that when you're recording on this, you can record audio directly to this device. When you pair it with this microphone transmitter, this actually has a cable that goes directly to your A cam, B cam, whatever. In my case, my ZV1. So it actually transmits the same audio directly to the transmitter, which goes directly into the camera. So when I'm playing back my video file from my camera, the same audio that is on here, recorded independently, is on my video file. So once again, we're talking about redundancies, right? This is amazing. This has saved me before. Example, we had a shoot and I was doing the same setup, but the attorney had a meeting beforehand and I was there a little early. So I decided to record some slow motion shots, B-roll, in the office with my ZV1. No, I am an idiot because I forgot to turn off this slow motion, like the S&Q mode. I forgot to put it back into regular mode. And I started recording his interview in slow motion. When you record in slow motion, and it records zero audio. So I had no audio for the whole video. But luckily, this was recording redundantly of the video recording, right? So yeah, saved my life. So that is my audio setup, right? Now let's talk about lights. Lights are I always have an Amaran 60D, and I used to use a newer, I think it's like 32-inch softbox. But however, you are always trying to, or at least I am always trying to find ways to do things faster, right? So while the softbox was delivering great results, just didn't always have the time or space in the bag to put like a big softbox and then build up this thing, because it's like building a tent almost, right? It's like a whole thing. So what I do now is this. So I'm still carrying the Amaran 60D, but now I'm carrying this umbrella with me, which is tiny. This can fit in a carry-on. So that just opens up like that. Some diffusion here. This is a Westcott umbrella, but yeah, pretty good diffusion for the size of it, and does a great job. Of course, the softbox is better, and if you have space for it, like if you're checking on things, then definitely do that. I try not to check on just because that's time at the airport as well. So yeah, that's my recommendation. If you have space for it, definitely softbox. If you don't have space for it, there's things like umbrellas like this that can fit in a carry-on that you can take, that will still deliver great results. Second light, don't always have this one on me, but I like to carry it just in case. This is the Amaran Ace 25C. While my Amaran is like a main key light, I will use this as a fill light or a kicker in the background, right? Depending on if it's dark or not. But yeah, this is fantastic. The secondary piece here, you can attach it to light stands or whatever you need to. But yeah, USB-C charging, magnetic on the back. You can attach it to like magnetic surfaces. It will just stick on there. So yeah, even if you're not using this as a fill light, you can use it in the back for like some motivational lighting. Like if you stick it onto the wall in the back, or just for like, you know, just give it a little more dynamicism. Yeah. You know what I mean? Depending on the location that you're shooting in. But it's good to have this just in case. Oh, a couple of things I forgot for the cameras, right? So I always want to have ND filters. ND filters are very, very useful because if you want to shoot at low apertures, so like f1.8 for like this lens, for example. But if you want to shoot at those apertures and not blow out highlights, then you need to have an ND filter to assist with that. Essentially, if you don't know what an ND filter is, it's essentially like sunglasses almost for your camera lens. So for example, you see how in my background right now, my room is pretty well lit. There's sunlight, a lot of sunlight coming in from this window. If I put even if I just put this over my camera lens, you can see how some of those highlights come back that were blown out before, right? You can start seeing a little bit of detail. So lots of these attorneys actually have really nice conference rooms, right? Conference rooms normally have like big windows and nice views, right? So generally, when you're exposing for a subject and you're against like a light or a harsh backdrop like that, everything outside the window is going to be overexposed. Your ND filters are going to be your best friend when it comes to that. See that? You can bring back detail that you were losing before. What this also means is that you now have to expose for the background and make sure the background looks good. But remember, after you expose for the background, it means that your subject is going to be underexposed. And how you fix that is essentially blasting more light from your key light onto their face, so everything looks nice and even. But yes, if you're doing this type of work, always have ND filters handy. A lot of people love the depth of field look, and this will help you retain a lot of detail in your shots while keeping shallow depth of field. So very important. Let's see, the camera tripods I use are not that special. It's just something that can stand up the camera in like an office setting. And my only criteria for looking at these things is really, can it fit into a carry-on? And this can. Same idea goes for light stand. These are nothing special. They get the job done. Can they fit into a carry-on? And they do. So that's why they're in the bag. But yeah, honestly, I think that's it. I think the thing about filming interviews is you can get pretty complex. You can get as complex as you'd like to, or you can keep it as simple as you'd like to. But the one thing I want to leave you with, over all of this gear, one thing you have to focus on is servicing the story. Everything that you bring with you must serve a purpose, and that purpose is, how am I going to use this gear to tell the best story? And as long as you're doing that, it doesn't matter if you're using, you know, like a DSLR or mirrorless camera, whatever. Even you could be using just a cell phone camera, iPhone, whatever, with no lights, and it can be amazing, right? What tells the best story? How can you tell the best story? That's all you have to focus on. And with that, I think that's it. So happy shooting, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.